All right, y'all. Lucian Black here with Into the Chasm. I have a special guest today. This is Edwin Linson. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
We're going to pick your brain a little bit, support you, whatever you got going on.
Sounds good.
Before we were recording here, we were talking about COVID and how it pretty much spanked us both.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, it seems like neither one of us got it for the first year and a half it was even out. He said he didn't have it until, what, January of this year?
Yeah, January.
I don't think I had it until, probably around the same, actually.
Yeah.
Probably, I think right at the end of Delta or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I had, but I don't actually know, I guess.
Yeah, there's no telling. But we were talking about COVID and how that kicked our asses. So Edwin, all right. What's your full band name, or what do you go by?
Yeah, Edwin Linson. I go by my full government name.
Okay. Cool.
It's, that's what it is on all my like social media and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just with music at the end there.
And you said Edwin. That's like an old school name, right?
Yeah, it's old. Yeah.
Okay.
It's old.
It's got some history to it.
Yeah, it's so my like on my mom's side of the family, everybody's like Scottish Irish stuff, and so it's an old, kind of like old English name.
Cool.
And it used to be like Edwyn, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And mine's the same, but I instead of Y. So,
Okay. How long have you been playing guitar and singing? I mean, when did guitar? I guess better question. When did you kind of think maybe I want to play guitar, and then when did you actually start playing?
Well, when I was very young, my dad played a little bit.
Yeah.
Like not a lot, but like occasionally get a
dabble.
Got his guitar and would play, and he wrote some things and stuff, and he's actually got a song that I really like that I should start playing called "Glass of Sand." But yeah, he had
cool
a
song
bunch of
title,
stuff.
By the way.
Yeah, good one. It's nice. It's got very blues oriented, I would say. Blues rock, and funnily enough, that's most of what I play is blues rock.
So that's your genre is the blues rock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So kind of there, like I always liked the idea of like singing, playing music, that kind of stuff. Guitar started though really when whatever, I had picked up a guitar, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I really started playing in junior year in high school.
Okay.
I took like a guitar. There was a guitar class offered, and I took that, and it was I started just playing always, and then
so it really resonated with you.
Yeah.
So you picked it up, and you're like, "This is it."
Yeah, this was. And I felt the pull.
Yeah.
And
it was talking to you.
Yeah, it was a little bit. And so I was just going after it and playing all the time, and then the choir was looking for someone to play Jason Mraz's "I'm Yours."
Yeah.
And I knew how to play that for their like spring pop concert, So I played that with the choir, and we had rehearsals, and while I was at rehearsals,
You already knew how to play it?
Yeah, I already knew how to play it.
Weird.
It was just
although the stars aligned on that one.
Yeah.
Of all the songs, you're like, I know this one.
I know that one, yeah. And I had been playing for like 3 months at that point or something. And maybe it was a little bit longer, but and so they asked me to play, and then rehearsal, and I showed up ready to play, and then I was just singing along, and the choir teacher, Miss Arnett, asked me to audition for the advanced choir the following year.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and then I started getting into singing, and because I was getting into singing, I focused more on that than guitar.
Yeah.
And then I got a vocal scholarship into college.
That is so interesting how all that actually
I
worked
know, right?
out, because like prior to all of that happening, was any of that ever on your mind? So it's kind of just like one thing led to another and led to another, and continue. That's just interesting to me.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I got a vocal scholarship to college, and I started being in like musicals and plays and stuff like that, and I was sort of a lead guy. I sang tenor in the choir and stuff, and so most of my stuff was melody focused. You know? And so then from there, there's this a cappella group that was a nationally touring group called Blend, and they were looking for a new singer.
Yeah.
And my voice teacher at college suggested them to them that I would that I could be their singer. So
Yeah.
I auditioned for them. It went well. I did some shows with them and stuff, and then it started to the point where I was like, oh, this is like a real job.
This is a gig. This is a thing. Yeah,
it's like it's.
I'm working. Yeah,
200 days a year on the road. So I went from just like being in the college choir and doing plays and stuff to like, this is what I do.
That's freaking cool, man.
And it is kind of weird.
That's interesting.
So then the group retired in 2018, and I was
okay,
like,
so they're no longer a group.
No
anymore.
longer a group.
Okay. Oh, so you wrote it to the end. Cool.
Yeah, right
nice,
to the end.
Nice.
And then from there, I had to get a real job.
Yeah.
A job. And so I worked for the Domino's for a while, and
nice.
I'd actually kind of worked for Domino's all the way through Blend. Even when I would come home, I'd just like pick up a shift or two. Because I've always liked to work.
Yeah.
So I always just kind of did.
Sure.
And and so after that, I spent about 3 months with Domino's being a general manager of this place that they had that was failing because of just workers not it's the food industry. Like a lot of the time you get
you have to have the right person in place to be able to even run a whole restaurant. If you got the wrong GM, if you got the wrong managers, I mean, you got to hold it all from the top down.
It's true. Yeah. And so I spent 3 months driving an hour one way to work for this general manager. They compensated me for gas and stuff.
That's good. Okay, cool.
But because I was like, look, you've got this much time, and then I'm not going to be doing this because the way Domino's works is like they don't pay their general managers anything, and then they don't pay really any of the workers anything. That's
the restaurant industry to be flat everywhere.
And so then the drivers, or like if you're a server, that's who makes money because they make the money on tips.
It's so weird. Like I'm actually a food server, and it's strange that I get to work half the hours, if not less, than my managers, and make more than my managers and a lot of my GMs.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, you could make. I was making like back when. This was minimum wage was still $8.25 when I was doing this. So I was making like 11.
So what was this, like 2011?
No. It was right before they implemented the change. So
it
was like the year before. So it was like 2018.
Okay.
So this was like, or maybe it had just gone to $9.
Yeah, when it just started raising finally.
Yeah,
going
just
up to
started raising.
15. Yeah.
And so, so I was making like $11.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Or something. So like hardly more than minimum wage.
Yeah.
But I would average like probably $18 to $20 an hour as a delivery guy.
Yeah.
So it was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This isn't a job.
Punishing your own bank account you're doing it for the corporation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing it for the resume.
Yeah.
You're doing it for if there's healthcare involved.
No, I wanted them to, I wanted them to stay in business so that I could continue to make money.
Yeah.
As like a general rule, because I didn't want somebody else to buy it and all that stuff. But so anyway, I did the 3 months. We got it like on the right track.
Yeah.
They had a guy that they thought was, gonna be a
So they underpaid you, and you made the place better.
Yeah.
That's how all these restaurants work too. They sacrifice the worker so that the business can do better.
So they had another guy that they thought was going to replace me. He ended up quitting. While I was there, they asked me to stay longer, and I was like, "Nah."
Yeah.
No
I'm done
way,
burning, man. Yeah.
This ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So, but it did also give you it was like kind of a weird time for me too. So it was like job security stuff, and
of course, yeah.
I had been kind of like this really part-time guy.
Yeah.
But I'd been like an assistant manager and driver, so I did both. But yeah, the way you make money is absolutely being a driver.
Yeah.
And then and so I was like, look, I'm going back. We ain't doing this no more.
Yeah.
So they lost that store.
Yeah.
And because they couldn't keep up with the corporate standards.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. That was wild.
Restaurants are wild.
Yeah.
I know I've worked serving, bartending, and I've been in the industry. I've been a manager. I've been the host. I've been the bus guy. I've been the cook. I mean, I've done every aspect of it. So I've seen all angles of restaurants, and it's all the same story. It's they won't pay people what they're worth, and it's already a problem because restaurants don't make that much to begin. They make like single-digit percentage margin, like when it comes to profits. So they're like, I can't pay our people. I'm like, but if you don't pay your people, you don't reward your people.
Yeah,
where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
and then you're stuck with people who are hating their life, and then that's the people who they put in charge.
Yeah.
People who hate their job, who don't bring morale. They bring morale down, and then the stores close. Or they get hammered and just fight people.
Yeah, I mean, like, usually, like, we had some, like, definite drug issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like I don't care what you do in your free time, but
Yeah.
if we're working, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
handle your shit.
Let's work a little.
Yeah,
you know?
we got something to do here.
Yeah.
I work with a guy that is consistently trying to butt heads with me, and I can just see it in his eyes, and I'm like, this dude's fucking hammered.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? There's been a couple jobs where I drank a little bit, but I'm like, I go out there and I work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not letting it interfere. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like that job. Like, yeah, the weed was like insane, which whatever. But as long as you could work, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, like. Yeah, and like the restaurant industry in general is like Coke and like, you know, like it's so much. There's so much wrong with it.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, and then
that's because people abuse themselves with all this shit because they're trying to make up for the lack of happiness and fulfillment the job's actually not giving them.
The happiness, just like the general, like even like physically, like the toll it takes on your body to sit, you know, to walk around on tiles for 12 hours a day or whatever. Especially you think like career waitress or something like that, you know, like
when it trains you to be an actor too. Yeah. And the mental effects. I mean, I had a friend who did bartending and serving for so long that she got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder because she was so used to like wearing this server bartending face for people that you can no longer separate that. Yeah. And you become that new person, and it's just like you're the split personality almost because and it's crazy. Restaurants are nuts.
It's a little bit like that with music too, but not as much.
I could see that. I never thought of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got stage brain,
stage person.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a buddy of mine that's who's a great performer, and but there's two of them. Yeah. He's a fantastic because he's not like a naturally like extroverted person. Yeah, he's a little bit more withdrawn, and
reserved. Yeah,
and but when he's on stage, man, like he's getting on tables and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
wow,
just like,
yeah,
like,
that's
like
interesting.
Getting after, he's a great performer. I learned a lot from him. And he, but yeah, like so his stage name. He has a stage name, right? Yeah, and so like. And we'll say like, oh, it's this guy. It's not, you know, like his friends all know this.
Oh, it's an inside joke.
It's like an inside joke. Okay. It's like, oh, I'm talking to Jonathan Lynn right now. I'm not talking to Jonathan Estes. Like, yeah, we kind of give him some. It's funny. Yeah. But hopefully he doesn't mind me saying that. But I doubt he'll care. Yeah. But yeah, no, I learned a lot from him and about how to, you know, like about stage presence and stuff like that. And he's cool dude, but yeah, there's definitely that split. Yeah, there's two people going on. Yeah,
there's one, putting on the show. There's handling business, and there's you and friends behind closed doors.
So I try to keep those close together. Yeah, because I don't really want to have to fake, but it's definitely enhanced.
Want to keep it genuine as possible.
It's definitely an enhancement on stage. Yeah. So I try to make it not two different entire people. Yeah, but like there's me, and then there's stage me, which is like more showy and that kind of stuff. But
presentation. Presentation. The entertainer, the one bringing the heat, bringing the entertainment.
But I like talking with people, so I talk during my shows. I'll ask questions, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And and so he's got like a band, and he's just like a straight singer. He plays guitar as well, but most of what he does is like him being out front and stage, and he'll get out, even wireless mic, get out and
mingle with people.
Crowd. It's cool.
Cool. That's awesome. It sounds like a great stage presence guy, performer.
Yeah, he is, and so like it's a little different for me because I'm playing.
So solo artist, solo artist, no band yet. Are you looking for like a full band ensemble, or are you still kind of just exploring your own thing, and you might come back to the band?
I would like to do a band at some point. Yeah. it would be
So you're looking for a drummer, bass,
drummer, bass, guitar.
guitar.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Maybe
if anyone
keys
that's
or
watching
something
this,
like that.
you got some connects.
Yeah, come on.
He's open to conversation about
Yeah.
full band.
Yeah, I really like it, and I would like to do a band because there is something to be said. Not that I haven't played with bands, but like there's something to be said about like 3 or 4 guys playing together that are just tight and just the music is better because it's fuller. It's
Well, there's a synchronicity between musicians whenever they're all on stage, and it's like they all pull off of each other and they all empower each other. It's a thing for sure.
I agree. I mean, it's I've seen some really great bands, and I've seen I've seen local bands that are better than like professional bands live. And
Agreed.
Stuff. I mean, I've seen that be the case, and like I think a really good example is like the Phonics from Caro. I don't know if you know them or not.
Nope.
They're like the core of the group is like a bunch of these old guys that have been playing together for like 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
or
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
like forever. They've been playing together.
They've been
forever.
doing it. Yeah.
And then they've got other guys that come and go, and they're like kind of a soul funk band, which is really like probably my favorite like particular kind of music.
Yeah.
Is that soul stuff. And so but then they have different people come in and play like trombone and
Cool. So sometimes
sax.
full band ensemble kind of thing.
Most of the time they've got like 8, 9 people on stage.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements and a lot of energy in that.
Yep.
As far as music itself, and whenever you started getting into playing guitar and singing, what were some musical influences you had as far as artists or other guitar players or other singers, whole bands? I mean, who then you think helped define you as an artist, and who now?
So, I would say, originally speaking, like I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock.
Yeah.
And so guys like Bob Seger,
Okay.
the Eagles, like
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of that growing up, and then I also listened to. My mom was a huge fan of the Counting Crows.
Yeah.
And so I know their catalog.
Warning, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Here it comes. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good.
All right.
I had to get that out of my system. Cats, bro. Cats.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them too. So the Counting Crows, and so for me, the biggest thing about them was their lyricism. Like I loved Adam's voice and everything, but the instrumentation was great. It was just really kind of cool Americana sound.
Yeah.
But the main thing was the lyrics. There's a lyric in Perfect Blue Buildings.
Yeah.
That's like in the chorus. It's ain't this position familiar, darling? All monkeys do what they see. And it's just like they're all their lyrics are great. There's there's a really pretty lyric in that same song. It's by the green apple sea, and it's just sticks in my head for whatever the visualization of that.
Yeah.
It's
Painting the picture as they're singing.
It's so good, and so I try to incorporate a lot of that with like my songwriting,
storytelling.
So that was early on, and so that was like when I was young, listening to music.
Yeah.
And then like while I was in college, I really got into the soul stuff.
Yeah.
I also used to sneak out of my room at night, like when I was really young, turn on late night commercials, and there'd be Smokey Robinson selling these big collections of Motown stuff.
Yeah.
And I would just listen to the clips of that music, and it would just I was like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, how have I not heard this before?
Yeah.
Little did I know it was like 40 years old,
Yeah.
at that time.
Music is timeless, man. That's
It
awesome.
is, especially a lot of that Motown stuff.
Yeah.
All the Temps and Smokey's, really, Smokey wrote most of the Temptations music, or that might not be totally fair, but a lot of it. He wrote a lot of it. And so, and then I found Sam Cooke. And once I found Sam Cooke, I was like, oh, that's what I like.
Yeah.
So that's another old guy.
Yeah.
I found him in college, and I had been listening to like, Al Green and
Al Green's awesome.
dude. He's so good.
Love and Happiness, right? That is
Love
an
and
amazing, amazing
Yeah,
song.
Let's Stay Together is his biggest one.
Yeah.
He did a version of Take Me to the River that was great. He did a version of the Bee Gees song, How Can I Mend Your Broken Heart? How Can You Mend a Broken
Bee
Heart?
Gees are great too. I still listen to them. I'll drive around and just karaoke on a back road, some Bee Gees.
So anyway, I'd been listening to guys like that.
Yeah.
And I found Sam, and I was like, oh, this is to me, the
Yeah.
greatest singer that's ever lived.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was taking vocal lessons. I was involved in choir. I was really concentrated on voice.
Yeah.
And that it really stuck with me. And to this day, he's my favorite all-time singer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And he's got just hit like so many songs. There's like that's a banger. Like "Bring It On Home" to me is probably the one most people would know by him. Or "A Change Is Gonna Come," which was
everybody knows.
Everybody knows that
yeah.
song.
Yeah,
that's
a popular cover for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, Seal did one.
Seal did?
Yeah,
interesting.
Seal did one.
He's done a couple covers.
R. Kelly did one.
There's
been a bunch. There's
ain't
been a
doing
bunch
them no more?
No, not no more. That's all right. Still, that was. I'll tell you what though. You go back and watch that. You're like, that's a great performance of that song.
Yeah.
So, but Sam was the originator of all of that stuff. He's a King of Soul, man. King of Soul. And so all of that music, I fell in love with that stuff hard. And so from that, and then Otis Redding, and there's all these different guys that I just like loved.
Yeah.
And then today, like guys that are happening right now, Marcus King.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Like as far as like modern artists you recommend?
Modern guys that I would recommend. Marcus King is awesome.
Okay.
My favorite current musician though is Alan Stone.
Alan Stone.
Alan Stone.
Okay.
So he's got a lot of that 70s soul feel in like a sort of a modern twist on it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he's my favorite living musician. And so he does he's got.
I'm gonna write that down. That's interesting.
Yeah, Allen and then Stone. And so he's legit. Marcus King, Susan Tedeschi and the Tedeschi Trucks Band. That's I forget her husband's name. His last name is Trucks though, and I can't remember his first name. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Derek Trucks. I don't remember. But they're great. Suzanne Santos, awesome.
Okay.
I like a lot of her music as well. Alan though has got just so many songs that I know every single word to.
Awesome.
And he's
thanks
great.
for recommending all these also because I know people that are watching this and myself as well. I love finding new music and hearing new music.
Oh,
and by word of mouth, it's the best way to find new artists.
I agree. Actually.
As far as your music career so far and how long you've been into it, what do you think is one thing that might have been like the biggest risk you've taken so far, or risk you might see in the future?
Man, that's interesting.
That's a specific question.
It is. I think, well, for one thing, kind of every show is a risk,
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of. In that, it's always up in the air whether you get
and whoever your crowd is, whoever's in the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yep, whoever your audience is, everything, every little thing is a risk for sure. I mean, pretty much all life is, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But
certainly.
Yeah. As far as I think, well, I mean, at the beginning of this year, I went full-time music. I quit my day job.
Yeah.
So that was a big one.
That's a gamble.
Big risk.
That's a dice roll.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, I still do some fill work for them, but I haven't in months.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome though. Congrats on making that full dive in. I had a guy named Logan Chapman on here too, and we were talking about something similar.
I know,
and it's really paying off for him, and sounds like it's paying off for you as well.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A little bit.
I mean, it's the beginning of the road, right? Yeah. I mean, you're already so far into the road, and it's still the beginning for you.
I know.
Well, I mean, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What kind of goals do you have 10 years from now as an artist? Are you still planning on just sticking local, or are you I want to go somewhere bigger, better?
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to move.
Yeah.
Well, maybe by 10 years.
Have a home base, but still broader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe by 10 years, but for the next 5, I would imagine I stay in the general area that I am. And then, but that's just because I want to grind and get better. Yeah. Because I'm a pretty decent guitar player. I'm a really good vocalist. But I want to be so sharp that I want to be undeniable.
You don't want to leap before you can walk.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah. So
that's awesome and respectable for sure.
Thanks. I want to. Yeah. I just want to play another 500 to 700 shows and really get good
Yeah.
at being on, and I'm pretty comfortable now,
Yeah.
and I like talking to the crowd, but I just want to have those, that 10,000 hour rule is real. And so I think another 3 to 5 years,
Chipping
and I'll
off
be
the edges, smoothing some pieces down.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that, and then because I've really been consistently playing guitar for only about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I started doing the stuff by myself, I was using a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
So I would just use tracks and just straight sing.
Yeah.
Which I liked, and it's difficult because like a lot of people call it karaoke.
Yeah.
But it's not quite right.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the lyrics in front of you.
Yeah.
So as you're I danced and sang.
Yeah.
All like different bars and stuff. Got into people. You know what I mean? Like.
So do you do covers and originals, or are you a little bit of both?
Yeah, I do both.
Cool.
And
well, then it's not karaoke if you do originals.
Right. Well, at that time, I didn't have anything that I was playing.
Yeah.
Now I do.
Okay. So you
make-
gradually built your way into having your
And
own
so-
originals and stuff.
Because I had been with that a cappella group for so long that I didn't touch a guitar for years.
Okay. Yeah.
So what happened was like, I got to this point with my vocals where it was like my vocals were great,
Yeah.
but my guitar chops were nothing.
Okay.
And
So you had to
'cause they
bring
were
those
gone.
back up
So
too.
I knew what I needed to do, but I had no calluses. I had no, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have the dexterity in my hands that I used to have. And
Fingers got soft again.
yeah, it was just like it took forever. And I really, really love playing the guitar, especially now because I'm kind of like maybe a journeyman, like kind of an intermediate kind of a guitar player.
Yeah.
Where I can play some solo work and stuff, and I know lots of chord voicings and things like that, but like I don't have a true mastery of guitar yet, and that's basically what I want to do in the next 10
That's great.
years.
That's super respectable that you want to get to the point of mastery as well. You know what I mean? Okay, take that question even further. Where do you see yourself possibly in 30 years? That's a hard one because I think most people are like, I'm just trying to conquer now. But where is, like, even if it's just like a dream or a thought, like I could see this.
Pie in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing in particular, I don't care in what way I get to do it, if it's an opening act or whatever.
Yeah.
I would like to play Red Rocks. Red Rocks would be, like, to me, that's like.
The pinnacle.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah. Reality shattered.
Yeah. It's like you're playing in front of, I think it's like 10,000 people. If you're playing a sold out Red Rocks show, it's like 10,000 people. You got the beautiful, especially like, what really solidified it was I saw Bill Burr's special where he did it live at Red Rocks, and that was just like,
me! I would have. You can see yourself where he is, and you're like,
yeah, it'd be really cool. And then Bert Kreischer played it, all these comedians have played it and stuff. But also, there's been so many great musicians play that spot that I'd like to be able to add my name to that list.
What's a band that you would like to share the stage with, or even like one day if you could, in some other reality, this hits big, that you could collaborate with?
Man,
I know that's a big broad question, but what's like a band out there you could be like, you know what, I would love to jump on one of their tracks or have them play guitar on mine.
The Counting Crows for sure.
That would be a pinnacle.
It'd be cool
for you. That'd be crazy.
Because he's such an improviser live. Because everybody will kind of know like Mr. Jones and stuff, like kind of the way it's done on the album, on August and everything after. And but if you ever see his live stuff, it's like he's doing all kinds of other stuff.
He's in his element.
Yeah, he's
Man's
feeling
in his
it,
own trance.
feeling it out, and like, not to be disrespectful, but sometimes it doesn't work out that well. But other times it's just like, man, that is such a cool way to do that.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting experience.
Yeah. Would you collaborate with local artists? Do you ever talk to any local artists about linking up? Well, I know you're still saying you're like, this is your craft and you want to be a master first, so collaborating still probably like, I want to get my thing first.
Yeah.
But
I've done some shows with some local guys.
Yeah.
There's a cat named Pele Rogan that I play with occasionally, and he's really he's kind of this weird jack of all trades guy. He's got a great, like, really nice voice. And, he's like a good, like, solid, like, basic rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
But he started on drums. Yeah. And so he's a drummer, and he'll like occasionally like bring a cajon, and he'll sit on cajon and stuff, and I'll you know, I'm a really good harmony singer now from the acapella stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll sing harmony with him, or he'll sing harmony with me. He'll keep the drums down, I'll keep the guitar going. It's just like, that's fun.
Yeah.
I've played some shows with some other people. I've played some shows with some country guys.
Yeah.
From around here. I mean, I would for sure.
Cool.
I would
just
like
as a
to.
free plug for you and local artists as well, for anyone that's looking to branch out with local artists as well, because I know collaboration is huge for artists, especially because everybody, you know, even now we're collaborating.
Sure.
And it's getting the message out for each other. Now, as far as like shows, how far have you traveled for a show? Like, what's your furthest you think you've gone so far?
I think, well, pre-COVID, I went to Texas once.
Yeah.
Played some shows down there, but it's been a while.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, more recently, where it's like the version of myself that it's closer to me, who I am now, you know, on stage is, I just got back from Arkansas a couple of weeks ago. I'll go to Eastern Kentucky in October. Cool. I play the St. Louis area a lot. So it's like, you know, anywhere from St. Louis, like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then there's, but Bowling Green is probably about the same as to Arkansas. So, 3.5, 4 hours.
If someone booked you the right price, would you do across country?
Yeah.
So you're pretty open to anywhere across the country as long as they're not taking money out of your pocket to get you there.
Yeah, the money has to make sense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just the truth.
Reality. Yeah.
It's
you're not gonna get there on a grilled cheese sandwich.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like $50 and a can of Coke isn't gonna help me. But, you know, it's which is a lot of the reason that I haven't tried to play like in Nashville or anything like that, because they don't pay you. You get great exposure. I'm not saying you don't.
Well, it's probably one of those things. You're like, well, we're Nashville, so I mean, come here.
Well, and the reality is the competition there is so crazy that like they don't have to pay you.
Yeah.
Because someone is willing to. Some fantastic musician is willing to go on stage for $50 for 4 hours. Yeah. And it's like, dog, that's not even minimum wage anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. You're giving me like $8 an hour.
Yeah.
You're like 2007 wages, man.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible. And you know, I really I really don't think that anybody should play for free if you're skilled.
Yeah.
So, you know, fortunately, we live in an area where there's lots of wineries and bars that like having
there's
live
a lot of
music.
nice places. Do you have like a favorite winery you play at or anything? I mean, there's a couple. Starview's beautiful. Have you been to Scratch yet?
I have not.
Scratch is awesome, man. Shout out Scratch. That place, I mean, their beer is awesome, made from local ingredients. But
I think. So I'm slightly biased, but Honker Hill is probably,
I was gonna say that's my favorite is Honker Hill.
Yeah,
that place is gorgeous.
It's beautiful. The people that run it, Chris and Leslie, are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like home, if that makes sense.
That is a great way of putting it. It's comfortable. It feels like your home. I went out there for Mother's Day with my mom.
Okay.
And it was my first time going out there, and I was like immediately in love with this place because like somebody else was playing guitar up there. You know, set the mood. And you got a pond back there. The drinks were good, and it's just the environment was awesome. You know.
So I don't know if you know this, but Chris, the guy that's the manager of Honker Hill, I think that's right. He's a drummer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're aware of that or not. No.
But,
so he's that.
So I did not know that information.
He's the tall guy. He's like 6'5" or 6 or whatever, and he's ex-Marine guy. And but he plays drums in a band, Giovanni Jones, and he's played for lots of different bands. He's played for like Dave Clark and a bunch of different guys. But
I need to get Clark on here. I keep forgetting to message him. See if he wants to come on.
Yeah. He's local country music.
He's been doing it for a while too, man.
Long time.
I mean, I used to manage at Frenchman's Widow, and he'd come in there and play every once in a while.
Dude, I loved that place.
It's reopening.
Is it?
Yeah. I just saw on Facebook they're gonna be Cindy Bunch is gonna reopen it.
That's the Walker's Bluff.
Yeah, it was and that place in Heron that had the that upstairs walk around, and then they have that huge venue across the street where everybody has like
with
drinks.
the stage and the outside patio thing.
Man, that is whenever they get that reopened, you gotta jump on those motherfuckers because that place is gonna be wonderful.
I play Walker's Bluff, so I mean, I
would
like
imagine, tasting room and stuff.
I would imagine I could probably figure that out. Yeah,
hell
the tasting room.
Sure.
I'm playing Legends in October as well.
Oh yeah, so you're already in there. Yeah.
So hopefully once they open that casino, they'll start doing music there.
Oh, they got to.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a nice plug for you, man. That casino. Well, did they give an estimation on when they're opening? I know that's still got a couple of years, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was there was a couple months. I played there a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
and I drove in. It's on the right, right before you come in, and there's just like a structure. Yeah, there's just like steel structure. That's all it's up right now.
Oh, okay, so it's the skin and bones right now.
So they've poured the foundation and everything. They've got that going up. So it'll. I would imagine it's gonna be at least a year.
Yeah,
it has. I mean,
that's so interesting though that we're actually getting a full casino here. I'm 50-50 about it because it's going to bring a lot of money and economic growth. And it's like Illinois needs that so bad, especially Southern Illinois. But man, are we going to see some sketchy shit start happening around here because casinos bring in some weird shit.
Yeah, maybe.
You get some big ballers that come in, so we're going to start seeing bigger names and money, but you're going to see some drugs come up in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough as it is for sure.
Yeah,
but there's.
But I'm hoping it'll be more of a good thing for the area because this place. I mean,
so.
Hell, I'd love to get a job out there.
Yeah,
I'm sure at a casino they're paying you more than minimum wage.
Yeah, I mean they've probably it has to be right. So, but they're cool. I mean, I really like playing that Walker's Bluff place. It's like sometimes it's hit or miss. You know, on terms of like sometimes they won't get like the promotion right or what people.
Yeah, I've noticed that like shows. I mean, it's sometimes people show up, even like people who have their own following for some reason. Like nobody will come out there. Sometimes you're like, well, they've always had an issue with promoting, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at where like venues that they like to go to. Yeah. Like they'll look on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff. Yeah, they'll check out like, oh, who they have today. Doesn't look like they have anything. You know what I mean? It's very quick. Yeah. So if you have something pinned for your weekend of like shows for the weekend, that would be great. Yes. That's what I do on my page. Where every week I post.
Pins are so helpful, especially like on your Facebook page. Yep. I don't know if the tasting room does that. They probably do. But yeah, that's super beneficial. Yeah. And yeah, after this, I'm gonna be pinning your stuff to my stuff.
Thanks.
Get it going for you. Get some extra views. As far as music, where people can find your music. Yeah. What platforms do you use? Is there a platform you prefer people to check out?
Sure. You can find my original stuff wherever you stream music. I've got like a little 3-song EP out. Mm-hmm. That's it's fine. If I redid it now, I'd do it differently because I've learned more. But it was my first project. I did it start to finish. Yeah. I wrote the parts. I played the parts. I sang the parts. I mixed it. I mastered it, and then I used CD Baby to push it out.
Sure.
And so I did that largely to learn how the process is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like to try to figure it out. Yeah. What a pain in the ass. I'll never do that.
Well, and at least you got it out there. You know what I mean? That's the start. That's the flag. That's the first. This is my baby.
Right.
Whatever it is.
So the title song for the EP is called Old Soul, and that one's like I'm pretty happy with the way that sounds. The other two, they're fine. Yeah. They're fine.
Are these on Spotify and Apple Music?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever. You stream
now, what's
music.
your name on Spotify and Apple Music? Is it just
Edwin Linson?
Okay, Edwin Linson. Yep. Okay. Because I know on your Facebook it's Edwin Linson
Music.
Okay.
Yeah, I use that to differentiate between that page and my personal.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Cool. Just so everyone, if they want to check your stuff out, differentiating here. Now, do you use TikTok yet? Have you used it? Have you experimented with the TikTok?
Yes. So I did a series at the beginning of this year of where for about 2 months I did just songs I liked. Recently either I've been playing them a while or I just found out about them and I'm really digging them or whatever. Yeah. So I did I did a bunch of old stuff. I did some newer stuff too. So I did a bunch of I did some Otis Redding. I did some old Marvin Gaye, that kind of stuff. I did several covers like that. I did several covers of I did Amy Winehouse's Valerie. I did,
cool.
you know, like there's so,
Winehouse
and that's
was
all
awesome.
on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
The full versions are all on YouTube.
Okay, so check out his full versions on YouTube.
But if you're a TikTok,
Same name, Edwin.
Edwin
Linson?
Linson. Yeah.
Okay, on YouTube.
Yep. If you type in Edwin Linson music, it'll bring it to
Okay.
you. You know? Same thing. If you're a TikTok person though, I have clips. I've like 30-second clips of each song up available.
Yeah, I know you can upload 10-minute clips on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Have you tried doing live streams on there to like gather some new fans?
I haven't. I'm planning on doing that here soon. Probably over the winter so like right now things are in pretty full swing of like live shows
and staying busy. Yeah.
So like this weekend I only have 3 this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is kind of light. But next week I have 6.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
Yeah.
So once things slow down, usually things slow down like December,
Winter
like
starts
November,
hitting,
December kind of there.
Less people are going out to wineries. Well, nobody's going out to wineries.
Yeah, wineries. Less wineries are doing music. Like Walker's Bluff still will. They have an inside. Pheasant Hollow still will.
Yeah.
They have an inside. Pheasant Hollow is another great winery
I don't know if I've been there yet.
go to. They're north of Benton in, in Whittington.
No, I don't think I've been there.
And so I did those 30-second deals and they're all up on Instagram Reels and TikTok and all that stuff. And I'm going to probably over this winter period do some more of that. Yeah. And some more maybe I'll do like a live stream or a few live streams. Yeah.
Experimenting.
Figure it out.
Well, that's the thing. Like TikTok, we were talking about it earlier how it blows my mind how it's become like this music just mongrel. I mean, because I know back in the day I started on MySpace back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Now this was like 2007, 2008 when the whole social media thing was brand new.
Yep.
And I was putting music up on there and stuff, and that's where music really you could start really sharing music, and that we haven't had a really good translation or for music to get on social media, but now with TikTok's huge.
TikTok, it's definitely huge. Which it's like again, like no offense, but I'm just not a fan of. I just don't care for it.
Well,
like,
it's catered to a certain demographic. I mean, kids and
all the dances.
Yeah.
Like for me,
yeah.
You know, like I'm more inclined to do Instagram Reels because I'd be more likely to be on Instagram. Yeah. You know, and then like if I see a reel, then you gotta get it works though because it'll send you into a hole for an hour. You know.
Oh, that's the thing about Reels that kind of pisses me off because it's like every once in a while I have to delete TikTok or Instagram because I'm like, get out of my sight. I gotta take a break, focus on what's important.
Literally, like let me like throw my phone across the room so I don't keep doing this. Yeah, I mean for real. Like, it's
on Facebook.
It's not
Reels
good.
is right in the middle of the fucking Facebook though. It's smart as shit because they're like, you can't get rid of it.
No,
it's right here. If you're gonna use social media, it's in your face. And I'll be on there. I'm like, damn, fuck.
Yep. No, it works. It works.
That's why it'd be perfect to get your stuff on Reels, though. You got some on Reels too?
Yeah, on Reels. And
okay.
Stuff. Okay. I actually did. So Alan Stone, who I mentioned earlier, he did. He did he put out a song and he did a thing where you could sing the duet with him basically.
Smart.
And so I sang a duet with him.
Oh, cool.
It did all right actually. It was pretty cool.
Okay, got some views.
And I got some views. I was just, it was just me on a phone into like an earphone mic. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird, but it's cool. And I've done several, other things like that that worked out.
How cool is that we can even being a musician and artist nowadays, it's changing like how much you can interact with fans and what you could do as a musician. Like 20 years ago, if you told me that you could do something like that, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Music's changed. Like you can do duets with someone on the other side of the planet.
It's crazy.
That's nuts to me.
You know what's really nuts is I'm sure you know what Guitar Tabs is or Ultimate Guitar.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah. So I use that for mostly lyrics, really. Yeah. Honestly, they have all the lyrics and everything. That's great. So they have a thing called Shots on there, which is essentially the same thing as Reels or TikTok or whatever. But it's all
Ultimate
music.
Guitar does?
Yeah.
I have not been on there in a while. I must be completely out the loop.
So I put all these same things out on Guitar Tabs as well. And my sitting on the dock of the bay clip that I put up, they did like it was a featured reel
Yeah.
for they do 10 featured reels,
Yeah.
I think, like every week
Mhm.
or something. Ended up with like more views than anything else that I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Where
awesome.
it was like, it was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was cool. You know, because I'm like a very small regional, I guess,
Yeah.
musician.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like, so it ended up with like 40,000 views,
That's
which
awesome.
was a shitload for me, you know.
Yeah, because even one new fan is like
Yeah.
one thing, and out of 40,000, you might have got like 50 or 60
maybe
new fans.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was cool, and
Yeah.
you know, I was talking with people on the platforms, you know, just comments and whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. And I really dug that. That was really like cool to see something happen from you know, me doing something.
When it's interactive too, so
Yeah.
that's really cool. That's interesting. The evolution of music and what you can do with it. It's not just a stage anymore. Well, the
Dude.
stage has changed, I guess you'd say. The stage is
Yeah,
no longer just physical.
yeah, it's a digital stage.
That's
and shit.
weird.
Yeah.
Virtual reality.
It's a weird.
One day they're gonna
situation
have
to
you
be
in a hologram doing
Yeah,
it.
maybe I might be like Tupac. Maybe they'll do me like Tupac, and they'll jack me up a little bit too.
Yeah.
Be a little more muscular than
Be
I
like,
was in real
"Man, if
life.
you drop my pay $300, could you make daddy a little
Is it a
bigger?
little bigger,
Give me a little
please?"
stock.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 inches
Tighten
high.
this up here.
Make my neck look a little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give me those traps. If
That's
you can,
right.
Give me those traps. That Bill Burr joke. How do you get these muscles? How do you get these?
You just stand and do this for 9 hours.
yeah. It's huge.
Well,
Yeah, no.
As far as people booking you and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
how do people get a hold of you for booking if they want to get you somewhere?
There's a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
Social media, you know, direct messages.
I guess like a main one. Would you say Facebook or like your main Facebook
yeah,
page?
Facebook is probably the best way to do
Okay.
that. Instagram works too, though.
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, Meta
Yeah.
works.
That's weird.
the best.
I still haven't seen that logo yet. It still just says Facebook, I think, doesn't
Really?
it? Maybe I've just missed it and just
Yeah, I
don't
think
pay
you're missing
attention.
it, or you haven't updated. One of the two.
That's probably why. So on your Instagram, is that also Edwin Music or
Edwin Linson Music. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same across all the like social media stuff. It's
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. But then like YouTube is, shit, I might be wrong. It might be Edwin Linson Music for YouTube too. But if you type in my name, it
Yeah.
should bring. There's not too many of us for one thing.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot.
That's a
of
unique
Edwins.
name, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's you know, I've only met 2 Edwins
Really?
in my life. They were both Latino.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even associate. I didn't
Yeah.
even figure that would be.
It was weird. I like, because I was like, I guess, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. But it was just like a weird situation. It was probably like, their probably real name was, you know, Eduardo or whatever.
Yeah.
And then because the one guy was a Mexican national.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other guy. I'm just lumping him in with
Yeah.
the other one, I guess.
Yeah.
The other Edwin that I met. But yeah, he was a Mexican national, and he like had moved here basically. And so yeah, no, he was. I would assume he had like a Spanish name.
Yeah.
And then when he moved here, he switched to an
Found a
English name.
shure one.
Yeah.
Shorter variation.
Yeah.
Or
So
something.
Edwin versus Edward.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, as far as shout outs or anything you want to mention before I close this on up on here, or anything you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Anything
Which? Oh,
specific?
how about this? This is just gonna be off topic a bit.
Sure.
I see your Sauron figurine back there.
Yeah.
So
nerd.
have you been watching the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. The whole internet has been pissed about it.
Yeah.
Rings of Power, and I'm one of those people. I'm like, look, I'll listen to what people have to say, but I gotta find out myself. I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna take your word for it. I know there's a lot of fans kind of hell bent about dumb reasons, in my opinion. But yeah, I've watched it. Have you watched them yet?
Yeah.
All 3 so far?
Yes, all 3 so far.
What do you think?
So I know I've got friends that are like, this is a
Disgraceful.
disgrace. It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Tolkien would be rolling in his grave.
Women
like, you
dwarves
know.
with beards.
Yeah.
She's black.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like,
a ridiculous reason.
I know people that take that seriously.
Yeah.
To me, I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
more Lord of the Rings is typically better. You know, that's kind of the way I look at
exactly. Yeah.
it. And you can be pissed about Gladriel's character
Yeah.
and how, you know, what you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, as someone who's read all the books and the Silmarillion, and I know look at it this way. This is my advice. Look at it as something that's non-canon, but to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
Just it's in the Tolkien verse,
Yeah.
but it's non-canon. Just
Yeah.
look at it like that.
Well, it's going to be expansive too.
Yeah.
It's not going to be just like, oh, here's a show like they did the Resident Evil. Like it's just like they're like,
I didn't even watch that.
This is a huge production. Like
Yeah.
the 3 episodes I've watched so far, it's like
It's
amazing
beautiful.
screenplay. It's gorgeous.
The cinematography is great. I mean, they did a really
The
good
acting is
job.
great too.
Acting is great so far, and I'm looking forward to episode 4. That's
Straight
where
up.
I am.
I can't wait to watch all of it. Just because, I've seen people pissed on the internet, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand because it's like they feel like it's a disloyalty to Tolkien and the whole franchise. But I'm like, but you're still getting another piece.
You don't need this negativity, though.
Yeah.
You don't need this negativity in your life. Be
Oh,
happy.
have you heard? Like, it's relative to the whole new Little Mermaid shit. Have you heard about this?
Oh, I think so.
It's a black girl with
Yeah.
red hair. That's not the original Little Mermaid, and it's just like, well, she doesn't exist. It doesn't really matter.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
possibly they're, at least possibly they're, whatever, playing into your current, social climate. Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But you just go, yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah.
And then you just.
It is what it is. It's like what I think people still want to live in this other reality where all characters stay the same character forever, or all franchises. It's like people that also bastardize an artist or musician whenever they change.
Yeah.
I'm a big metal fan. I've always listened to this band called Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah.
And they've had lots of different changes because the singer, right there. I've been worshiping Matt Tuck since I was like 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
I'm 33. But like you hear in every single album, a lot of them are different.
Yeah.
Because this guy as a singer, his emotional connectivity when it comes to writing changes.
Yeah.
He had a divorce a couple years ago, and one of his albums was less metal and more melodic and more heartfelt, right? And all of his fans were pissed.
Yeah.
This isn't Bullet for My Valentine, but it's just like, it's not about, it's partially about the fans, but it's also like about the thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, what they would have also said if it had sounded like the previous record is this is just the same thing.
Sounds
they
the
just
exact
redid it.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's nonsense.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of people.
It's people that can't do it criticizing people that can.
Right there.
That's what it is.
I think it, with like the whole Rings of Power thing, it's a lot of people that just fucking hate Bezos also.
Yeah,
that's
probably
like if it was like a different face, if it was fucking Bill Gates or
anybody,
if it was Joe Biden,
if it was Fauci,
I'd be I'd be the fucking bitching motherfucker. That would be me though.
Yeah,
mad. I can't wait. That dude's got a fucking book coming out.
All these elves are vaccinated. They all get vaccinated.
That's stupid as fuck. Then you get the whole. Well, these are unvaccinated elves.
Unvaccinated elves. They got they sent them to the orcs, and then
tribalism.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I definitely am a big fan of people doing different stuff. Like I like it. I don't know.
I respect that shit. Like even if it doesn't pan out the way that I want it to, like Resident Evil, like we were just talking. I have always been such a huge fan. I played the games. I watched all the movies with Mia Jovovich, and I was just like, she was such a powerful character and actress. I was like, oh, they're fucking vamping this. Yeah. I'm so fucking stoked to watch it. Watched it. Sucked. Like I was like, the action was too fast. Like it wasn't real. It was like, it's like they made the whole show thinking, okay, they want action. Let's give it now. There was no story build. There was, and they rushed the characters too fast. There was no like the Rings of Power feels like everything's gradual.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people gave him shit about that too because it was like, well, I have a buddy who likes the show. He's like, I about fell asleep in the first episode, and I was like, what?
I loved it.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was awesome.
I did too. And because it was all the setup, it's all the Silmarillion, like all the backstory of like Morgoth and everything else.
You're connecting the pieces of what you're already familiar with. You're like it's references to what it is doing a good.
And they know that not everybody has read the Silmarillion. Lots of people just watch the movies, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if you like if you read the Silmarillion, it's like that's a cool texture piece to like set everything up.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then you probably aren't aware of these characters, and you probably need to know who they are for this series. It's cool. Like, it needed to happen, and they executed it pretty well, I think. I mean,
I think it's great. I mean,
when you consider how long that, like the expanse of all of that is.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job for an hour episode.
Yeah. It's encompassed a lot of great elements in it. I mean, like we were talking about the cinematography and the character development isn't. They're telling the story of Galadriel so far, right? And that's like I don't know the full story of what they're telling yet.
Yeah.
But that's all I've gotten so far. I know the internet's been all the rage about
Elendil probably, and then Isildur, his son.
Yeah, that's right. He was on the boat, and his story's getting told. I think he's gonna be a badass character. Yeah. I'm excited to see his story.
Well, Elendil is one of the greatest men of the Tolkien verse for sure. And yep, it's gonna be a pretty good show, I think.
Any other shows you've been watching or keep up with, or is Lord of the Rings your baby?
I don't watch a ton of television. But, I'm usually I would like to spend
playing
my
that
time
guitar.
Yeah, I like to spend my time practicing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Playing shows, booking shows, promotion for shows. It's a whole thing.
It's a lot, I'm sure.
And so I'm doing it all myself.
Living, breathing.
Right. Yeah.
Your career.
So yeah, I spend a lot of time doing that. So, but when I get free time, if I have free time, I usually don't watch TV. I'm usually like a video game guy. So.
Oh, what do you play?
Right now I'm playing this game set in the Louisiana Bayou at the turn of the 20th century.
Specific, interesting.
Called Hunt Showdown.
Never heard of it. Okay.
It's an extraction shooter.
Yeah.
And so it's first person shooter. It's by Crytek. If you know who Crytek is, they did all the Crisis series.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a badass series.
But it was developed in their I think it was developed in their Austrian branch. So it's like a bunch of Austrian guys doing it, and the music is fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's not even really. There's a voice, but there's no real lyrics.
Yeah.
There's some sprinkled in, but like it's a lot of humming.
Yeah.
And like really like low male humming, and then there's also like a female.
Okay, so it like builds with scenes and stuff.
It's cool.
Awesome.
It's really like if you're in the lobby or whatever, you get like it's very like real like minor and cool, and I like it.
Now what's it called?
Hunt Showdown.
And now what is that, PC or what
PC.
platform?
Yeah.
Hunter Showdown?
Hunt
Showdown. So what's like the basis of it? Like what's the
So
what are you
it's
doing?
based in the Louisiana Bayou. It is really cool situation where it's like zombie apocalypse kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's a PvPvE. So there's other hunters.
Okay.
And then you're trying to there's the objective, which is like a boss zombie.
Yeah.
Basically.
Big bad
and
boy.
there's 1 to 2 depending.
Yeah.
And so you grab the bounty and you extract. That's the goal.
Yeah.
It's really based in sound, which is probably why I like it so much. The sound design on it it's not perfect, but it's very close. Mm-hmm. It's so cool. It's got really, really great like footstep sounds.
Yeah.
To the point where like the sound changes depending on what surface you're on. So if you're on wood or metal or mud or whatever.
Yeah.
Like literally each individual sound, and other players can hear that and then use sound detection to.
Oh, that's cool. So it's really ultra realistic.
Yeah, it's a very.
So it really keeps you in it too. Then.
Yeah, it keeps you in it. It's very like immersive.
Yeah.
Even though realistic probably isn't the word, just because it's a zombie apocalypse game.
Yeah.
But it's all turn of the century weapons, so it's a lot of like bolt action rifle, single double barrel shotgun.
Is it
stuff.
First person or
first person?
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a really cool game.
Did you try that game called DayZ?
Yes, I've played a little bit of DayZ.
That one was too fucking difficult for me. I had a hard time staying engaged with that game.
Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, it didn't hit my buttons the right way, I guess.
Well, I feel like a lot of games you need to be engaged. And that game's like, okay, there's a whole city. There's like, you can find a city after miles of running for 30 minutes, literally just running while your character's losing health and stuff.
Yep.
You could finally find a village. You're like, okay, 20 buildings. Finally going to find some stuff. You find a couple hats and a set of pants. And you're like, a gun with no bullets. And you're like, what am I playing this game for?
Somebody's been through here already or something. Yeah. No, I hear you. It was not for me.
Yeah.
I liked, but I liked Hunt. I've been playing a little bit of Valheim lately as well. It's an indie
Heard
game.
of, haven't seen it though.
Really cool, like Viking kind of third-person Viking.
Okay, cool.
For lack of a better analogy, Minecrafty. You know,
cool.
Kind of,
I love that stuff. So it's creative, base build survival.
Yeah, base build survival.
Those are my favorite. Base. Did you ever play 7 Days to Die?
No.
That's one I definitely recommend researching. It's on PC, and it's man, it's a zombie survival base build. You can dig the actual ground.
Oh, cool.
You can manipulate the entire.
Yeah, it's similar to this then.
Interesting.
It's you can manipulate everything using resources and there's various different tools. Anyway, it's really cool, and I like that game as well. It's an indie game, so it's got some bugs.
Yep.
It's got a few bugs.
You got a small team of people trying to make a whole game work.
Yeah, it's harder. And the same thing for Crytek, because that's a different, it's a small branch of Crytek.
Yeah.
There's plenty of bugs in Hunt, too.
Yeah.
There's some, right now especially, because they just released an event, so they had their highest player base ever.
Yeah.
Of 40,000 people or something.
Gosh.
So it's not a massive game, but it's, doing all
It is
right.
crazy to think that many people are playing at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is incomprehensible.
Yeah, that's concurrent player base, yeah.
Did you ever play a game called Dead Island?
Yes.
That game is pure crack.
I
think they've got a new one coming out. It came out on the 360, the Xbox 360.
I think I did play
I don't know
that.
if it's PC. It might be. But I know for sure it's 360.
Well, I started on Xbox.
Oh, okay, so you already know.
Yeah.
It was like this first person where you could get these weapons where you could apply electricity or like a saw, or it was one of the first games where you could really just beat the shit out of zombies, and it didn't feel like you were getting murdered by zombies. It felt like you were attacking the zombies. You were the force going to attack the zombies versus having to be fearful, and it was a very engaging game.
That's Hunt is a little bit like that
Really?
once you're situated with everything, because there's lots of information in Hunt that you have to deal with. But still the AI will wreck you.
Screw your shit up.
Yeah. I've had moments during the game where I'm fighting somebody and the AI ruins everything.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
See, I like games that make it difficult too.
Yeah.
It's like there's like a healthy balance between what you can control, and then situations where you're like, okay, I'm under equipped for what I'm about to handle. I need to think about this smarter or get the fuck out.
It's exactly that's correct, because it's more rewarding if you do that.
Yeah. Versus games that you just go in, you win, and then you're like, well, now what do I do? I've already won.
Yeah. It's if you don't want to feel like God while you're there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be controlling no.
Well, that's actually one reason I never really play games that have the creative mode, because the whole God aspect kind of ruins it for me. I like the survival grind.
Yep.
The whole idea that I can just have everything at my expense right now.
Did you play Forest?
Forest, doesn't that have a VR?
It might. I think so.
That's like a survival.
It's a survival game as well, where you crash land on an island.
Does that have zombies in it? I feel like I saw a video about it, but I don't remember.
Kind of, yeah. I guess they're kind of zombies.
Yeah.
I always they're so human though. They're more human, but it feels more like tribal, cannibalistic human.
Ooh, interesting.
Kind of.
Okay.
Not quite zombie, but zombie-ish.
Yeah.
But cool. It's a
Similar
really cool
element.
game. Survival, base building. Got to figure out a way
Building
to
a
get off the
camp
island.
or tent or
structures.
Those are fun, man. Survival games are.
I like
a lot
them a lot.
of fun.
It's
kind of like the dude want to go out in the wilderness and explore, and we're getting to get a piece of that. The hunter-gatherer in our brain.
I want to. It's just weird, where it's just taking over your your lizard brain kind of a thing, where it's you want the challenge.
Yeah.
But the video game gives you the opportunity to not have the consequences.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. I don't die actually.
Yeah, you don't actually die. If you do die, it's a set, but you feel the setback. Like,
Yeah.
you need to feel
Yeah.
like, I just lost like my
Yeah.
best, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you restart with nothing, and you're like, damn, I
Oh,
gotta figure this
dude, I
out.
remember I used to play. You ever heard of a game called RuneScape?
Yeah.
I used to play RuneScape from like 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I played it until like the end of high school. And I remember like in 8th grade.
Were you a
Being in the-
premium?
Huh?
Were you a premium RuneScape guy?
No, because my parents wouldn't let me spend
Yeah.
shit for money. And then one day I had a job when I was like 16, and I finally got premium. I like waited forever,
Yeah.
and I finally had it. And I remember I was in the wilderness, and I had like just beat the shit out of this dude that was like 10 levels above me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I took all your shit.
Yep.
And within like seconds, karma came and killed me, and took
Mm-hmm.
all my shit. And I remember like being so fucking mad, because this is before I could like maintain my own emotions, young male
16,
hormones, you
yeah.
know. So I remember screaming,
Yeah,
fuck,
just as loud.
not
as
realizing I
possible.
was not home alone, and then turning around and my stepdad's just like staring at me like,
Like, what did you just? What?
you cuss? And I was just like, I stubbed my toe. And I remember that's what I said. That was my rebuttal for screaming fuck, because I lost some imaginary thing.
Yeah.
It's weird that games that, like you said, it
You
like
get
activates
invested.
this part
Yeah.
of your brain, the punishment too.
Yeah. No, you need to have the consequence, but like, because like physical consequences have like a real,
Yeah.
real lifelong repercussions where you can't do shit.
If you're bad at your job, you lose a finger.
But if you get mad at a video game, it's not gonna ruin your life.
Yeah. That's
Versus
interesting.
like if you got your arm cut off, it would ruin. It would ruin a lot of things. It would make things
It'd be
harder.
pretty awful. Have you messed with VR yet?
Not like I don't own a VR system, but yes.
Did you have any weird effects from it? I played with my buddy George. He had this VR, right? And we've been drinking. It sounded like an interesting idea. I'm like, drink a couple beers
drinking
and
in
play
VR is rough.
It actually didn't turn out the way I thought it would, but it
yeah.
sounded like a cool idea. But even weirder, because I played it, and we played Resident Evil Biohazard, which were like, sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And your brain actually doesn't know the difference. It felt like I'm actually getting attacked. But the thing was, after being freaked the fuck out, I got a video of George bicycle kicking the air, a full-grown man kicking at the air because he thought this woman with a chainsaw was about to cut him in half. But the weirdest thing about playing that game in VR was taking it off.
Yeah.
And then continuing my day, and I almost got in a wreck because my arms didn't feel like my arms anymore. It was
that's
fucking weird because
No.
your brain's like connected to these new arms and how they work. And then you take it off, and my arm's like, what the fuck?
That's weird.
What the
No,
fuck?
I didn't have.
It fucked my
that.
reality up a little bit.
I didn't have that. I definitely had like I felt like my eyes were really tired. Basically,
Yeah.
my eyes were. That's about the only thing that happened to me. But the first time I played Super Hot, which was a
Oh, that's a fun ass game.
It's
Yeah.
fun VR Super
Yeah,
Hot.
yeah, that's cool.
It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of like weird gymnastic moves, you
Yeah.
know, and you're like trying to. Yeah, it's fun. And then I played Half-Life Alyx.
I still never played that, but it looked freaking
Oh.
amazing.
So good. I haven't played the whole thing through
Yeah.
or anything, but
What you got to play was dope.
my buddy, who's big into it was
Yeah.
He bought a VR system and bought Half-Life.
I'm interested to see what games become like when VR gets even more advanced. Whenever VR catches up to like computer graphics.
I don't know that it ever really will. I mean, maybe to what they are now, but like
Yeah.
I think it's so much easier
Yeah.
to have. I think they'll basically exist in like different spaces. kind
Yeah.
of. So I
Like
think,
segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I don't think that PC gaming is going away.
Yeah.
I don't think it will become VR.
Yeah.
I think it'll just become increasingly more graphically detailed and beautiful.
Yeah.
And VR will do the same thing,
Yeah.
but it takes more to make VR.
Yeah.
So
and a
it'll
lot
always
more
be
memory,
behind
I'm
on
sure,
graphics.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be people that are like, I want the best graphics that are possible.
Yeah.
And then there will be people like, I want to be in the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I mean, you put headphones on,
Yeah.
and you sit in a dark room in front of a computer screen.
You're
It's
in
like
it.
you're in it.
Yeah.
You're there.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll move my Xbox to my bedroom, and I got a big ass TV in there.
Yeah.
And I'll have all the lights off, and I'll have like some purple lights on, and I'll play Skyrim or something. I'll just be
dude.
like vegging out because I'm just like, again, activating that inner primal dude energy of wanting to just explore jungle.
Yep.
And it's epic. My buddy George played Skyrim in VR, and he said it's amazing.
Oh, I bet it is.
I haven't. I think I played it for 30 seconds, but I think I was drunk when I was trying. And I was like, no.
Nope.
No.
no. Yeah, man. I'd like to probably play Skyrim in VR because I played so much of it. That game came out when I was a junior in high school, so it was just like, and it was the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's been re-released how many times because it's done so well?
Too many. Where's Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh my God. I've never been this emotional for a game, but whenever Elder Scrolls 6 comes about, I might cry.
Yeah.
I might fucking cry.
Yeah. It's like Skyrim was so good. And I think that, Elder Scrolls 6 will be
we've waited
equally,
for fucking 12
you know what I mean?
years.
It's long enough. It's been long enough, Bethesda. Please.
Give us the meat. God,
like, why? But anyway, yeah, I mean, I definitely am ready for Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make some badass games, though. Bethesda, they
Fallout and...
Oh, yeah. Well, Fallout's got a little bit of that element, too, of the whole...
survival.
Sandbox, open world, survival, build, contraptions and
it's that's cool. That's a cool game too. I didn't play that one as much as I played the Elder
Skyrim's
Scrolls.
Definitely got more of the popular elements.
I was
because
an Oblivion
it's
cat too.
Oblivion was dope
first, and then that. I never played. I was too young to play like Morrowind.
I never played Morrowind.
Yeah.
I remember Oblivion, you could like drop paintbrushes and they'd levitate in the air, and you could jump on them and use them as step stools.
Yep.
And just climb
There's
buildings.
A bunch of crazy stuff where like if you drew a bow, went into your inventory, dropped an item, and you shot the item with the bow and arrow, then it would duplicate the item.
Yeah.
I think that's right. That was crazy. I mean, and you could break the game. It would duplicate it based on the number of arrows you had in your quiver,
Yeah.
And it was like you could break the game doing that.
Yeah, that game was broken.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading something about... I didn't hack it, but I did some break in the game to where it started raining emeralds out of the sky. Like raining, just emeralds just appearing. And I'm like, I don't even remember how I did that.
Yep.
That
was a while. It was a fun game too.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I can't wait to see how big games are going to get. Like the fact that
so
the next Elder Scrolls, I can't even fathom compared to Skyrim.
No, because when Skyrim came out, it was like, I forget what the number is, but it was like 10 square miles or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? And like, if it's been 12 years, like the sheer, and I mean, we've played games bigger than Skyrim now, but
yeah,
I can't imagine the just enormity.
Yeah,
of
the depth and the quest, the expansiveness.
I don't know that there'll be a completionist for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you'll be able to.
No. Well, even Skyrim, I mean, there was a long time quest. You do complete it and you get all the side quests. But even like the game exploration itself, it was fun just to run, walk, explore that land.
All the stuff. Yep.
Fallout 76 has that a bit, but
yeah.
But I say we'll wrap this up.
All right, man.
But hey, I say if you ever want to jump on again, do another stream or do another update on what you got going on, plug some stuff. I'm
gonna have some music come out at the end of the year that I'm pretty happy about. I think it'll be the end of the year. It depends. The guy, I actually went and collaborated with a dude who used to live here.
Yeah.
But he just moved down towards right around Memphis.
Yeah.
And so he's getting situated, and then he's going to do... So all the tracks related and everything, they just have to be mixed and mastered. He started a new job, and he's a music teacher.
Oh, cool.
He was at SIU.
Yeah.
But now he's going to this really, like, interesting school. Anyway, he's teaching high school now, I think, but it's like a experimental kind of a high school. It's like really interesting kind of a structure and stuff. So it's
okay.
It's
changing
less
out the
uniform.
Educational structure, basically.
And so cool idea, and for music, and so he's a cool dude, Cody Brookshire. He's got a lot of stuff on Spotify, etc.
Is he from Benton?
No, he's originally from Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And he
one I
moved,
know.
moved for jobs and stuff. Ended
Yeah.
up here at SIU the last couple of years, and then he's moved down to Memphis now.
Okay.
So
So you're
once
thinking
he
around
gets-
winter or something.
I think
That's the dart
probably
throw.
That's more
Yeah,
or less
ballpark.
Maybe beginning of next year, depending on
Yeah.
how it could be holidays come, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm not going to get this done." You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And
Life
it's,
happens.
January, February of
Yeah.
next year, where that ends up going. But so yeah, I've got some new music hopefully coming out in the next 4 months or so.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe when that happens, I'll hit you up and we can do this again.
Awesome.
Check out the YouTube, and I'm gonna probably be doing some more stuff on YouTube here relatively soon.
Cool.
TikTok, etc.
Hell yeah.
All that stuff. So
Okay.
I'll be posting stuff all over the place.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. And
all right.
whenever you have new stuff coming back out, we'll have you back on.
Sounds good.
Do updates, talk some nerdy stuff, and
Yeah, I do like
get
nerdy
stuff
stuff.
going.
Yeah, I do.
Well, y'all, thanks for checking us out. Check his stuff out. Edwin Linson Music on Facebook and Edwin Linson on YouTube. He's on Spotify. He's also on Apple Music as well.
Yep.
Follow his stuff. Spread local artists. Listen to his stuff. And appreciate y'all. And, bro, thanks for coming on, man.
Glad
Thanks
to be
for
here.
hanging with me.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
man.
y'all.
Mm-hmm.